Welcome to Beanbag Warriors, and this is Pro Football Talk, motherfuckers.
Hello everyone, welcome to the second episode of Pro Football Talk, where you guessed it, all we talk about is pro-Trump and no, I'm kidding, no. In honor of Election Day, I wanted to throw in a little Trump pun, just because it's Donald Trump.
If it's not funny, I'm not laughing.
I'm sorry. So, let's get things started off. I'm Alec, along with Tony and Thomas, same guys from last week. And, guys, we had 31 views on our first episode last week. So that tells me one of two things. Either A, we are actually pretty decent at what we're doing here, or B, people are just bored out of their minds and just watching idiots talk about football. I think it's probably second one. I would think I'm leaning towards that one more. But guys, let's start off the show like we always do, recapping last night's game on Monday Night Football, and this game. I think me and Tony were talking about this earlier, but this game was it was a lot closer than the scoreboard says. I think, in my opinion, we'll get to the halftime controversy in a minute. Let's talk about the game right now. Seattle won 31-25 was the final. Russell Wilson looked like Russell Wilson, the old Russell Wilson. He finished the night 20-26 with 282 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, which was good for him. And then, man, Jimmy Graham. Welcome back to the NFL, Jimmy Graham. He ended his night with 8 catches for 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, and both of them were very impressive one-handers. And I know Tony was happy considering he had Graham on fantasy. And I was pretty disappointed because I was trying to trade for Graham. But, and again, for the Bills side, Tyrod Taylor finished 27-38 with 289, a touchdown and an interception. Shady McCoy finished with 85 yards rushing. Robert Woods, the Bills receiver, actually had a pretty solid night. He had 10 catches for 162 yards against that quote-unquote Legion of Boom. But, yeah, Thomas, Tony, you guys want to take it away? Any takeaways from last night's game that you want to bring up?
Thomas, you can go first.
I don't know. I don't really have any takeaways besides that. My lock for like a clean win. I don't even know what I was gonna say. I totally lost my train of thought.
How your team, you're locked from last week's games is going to be the Bills over the Seahawks?
Yeah.
Oh, if we're talking about that, I am the one who won that.
Really, Tony? Why don't you remind everyone here what your picks were last week? Your upset and your lock.
My locked-in pick was Cowboys beating Cleveland.
Right.
My what was it? What was the other pick? I don't know what it was called.
Your upset.
Upset. There we go. Mine was Oakland going to be beating Denver.
Well, Tony, congrats. You are 2-0 as of right now. Thomas, you were 1-1. Your upset was Detroit over Minnesota, and that paid off pretty well for you. The Lions won in overtime. And your lock, the Bills did not fare too well against Seahawks, and I ended up finishing 1-1 as well. The Saints beat the 49ers, and then I had, I believe, I don't remember what the other pick was, to be honest. I'll have to go back and check, but I know for sure the Saints won. That was my lock, so we'll get into that later on. But, Tony, what was your thoughts on Jimmy Graham Monday night last night? Thoughts on him?
How you were kind of like reading him back in the NFL. Like that seems like the 2013 Jimmy Graham when he was with New Orleans. That just like you're like, oh, there he is. He is still playing.
Yeah.
And you got to see like he's still here and he still has that same talent he did a few years ago. And it's
Yeah.
exciting to see him back.
Yeah, talk about impressive. Both of his touchdowns were one-handers. So that was very impressive. But that was not the storyline of the game. As we all know, the storyline took place before halftime. So just to give everyone a general idea of what was going on, the Bills were attempting a long field goal with Dan Carpenter. Richard Sherman of the Seahawks tried to jump the snap count, was offsides, and he ran to dive to try and block the field goal, but he actually missed the ball entirely, and he hit Dan Carpenter in the knees. Dan Carpenter fell down. There was no flag for roughing the kicker, which I'm pretty sure caught everyone in that stadium off guard. There was no call for roughing the kicker. They did throw the flag for the offsides penalty. Buffalo lined up again, but before the ball could be snapped, the refs did not reset the play clock. And then the clock ran down to 5 seconds when the Bills had a chance to snap the football. It was too late. They called delay a game on the Bills. And the Bills try again for the third time to try a field goal, and it was no good. Tony and Thomas, did you guys think Sherman intentionally tried to high loom and take out Dan Carpenter's knees?
You want to go first, Thomas?
Yeah, sure. I don't think he necessarily did it on purpose, but you can never really tell, especially in a situation like this, what someone's thinking. Of course, they could always say, "No, I didn't do it on purpose," and people will believe that. Well, some people, and then some people will just see right through the window. In this case, I don't think that he necessarily tried to do it with the intent to hurt or injure, but he just did it to I don't know, because he isn't exactly he doesn't have that good mentality. He's kind of an ass.
Not the clean player you think about Richard Sherman.
And then you going back, I think it was a couple of years ago after that post game interview where he talked about Michael Crabtree and how he's the best corner and stuff like that. I mean, I guess that kind of shows just a little bit who Richard Sherman is.
It's true colors.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell. But I don't think he necessarily did it on purpose.
Right, Tony. What did you think? I know you were talking about it earlier before we started.
Yeah, I think it was intentional. I was one of those people that thought it was because, if you look back at it, when he gets up, he doesn't show any care about it. He just shrugs. Just was so well, He honestly, it looked like it was intentional, and it really, really made me mad. I have never felt so much disrespect from that. The only other person that I have lowest respect for, other than Richard Sherman, after that, has to be Martellus Bennett.
Marty B.
Yeah, I knew he was going to say it.
Marty B. After his remarks about Jason Witten and the Dallas Cowboys, but yeah.
Well, not just that. It's just he was, ragging on the Bears. And, you didn't do anything with the Cowboys, didn't do anything with the Bears. Now you're on a super team, and you think you're all great. When it's not. You have Tom Brady as your quarterback. You should just, be quiet. You're not anything great.
So that's true. That's a true thing about Martellus Bennett.
Yep.
I probably concur, but yeah, back to the Sherman kick. I personally do think Sherman meant, because I think he knew he was jumping off sides the moment the ball was snapped. He knew he jumped the gun too early, and I feel like if you look at the replay, Sherman's running for the kicker, and when he dives out, he doesn't even touch the ball. His body's already flown past the ball. He's running into Dan Carpenter's legs, and just runs him over, and it's just that doesn't happen in the NFL. It really doesn't happen at all. And I think the Sherman diving for the lip, that's one thing. But that's another thing when the refs did not call for roughing the kicker. That also really kind of caught me off guard. They didn't call the penalty for it, which really kind of messed up Buffalo from that point on, because if the Bills had kicked the field goal if they kicked the field goal and made it before halftime, going into the final 2-minute drill with Tyrod Taylor, scored would have been 28-31. Buffalo could have easily kicked the field goal and go to overtime. But since the refs did not call the penalty, and then a series of other events, like they didn't reset the play clock, which called a delay of game on the second field goal attempt right before half, it pushed them back even further than originally. So that messed them up from the beginning. They needed to look at the long run because this is a Patriot. The Patriots, they win the division every year, and now Buffalo now at 4-5. This loss really could come down to them being a wild card team or not, because every win in the NFL counts. And to see the Bills lose the way they did on Monday night, I just gotta think definitely was definitely a sad way to lose the game to the refs. And that brings me to another topic hot around the NFL right now: the referees. Now they've been known to miss plenty of calls in key moments, or to reverse calls in very key moments, as every Cowboy fan knows. The Dez Bryant catch a couple years ago, but just to get back to the refs, Saints head coach Sean Payton recently stated that the NFL needs to hire full-time referees and train them around the year to get prepared for those kind of situations where it does happen and they don't make the right calls. And I think he's right, because I think you look at the refs, they're part-time. They work for the season, they go back to their normal jobs after the season is over. So it's kind of like they're not coached for the full year to be full-time referees in the NFL.
Yeah,
and it's
They're
just
kind of given the handbook, and
yeah, it's based on what you see, not based on the rule book exactly. So I mean, just to that point, do you guys think the NFL really needs to crack down on the officiating and hire full-time refs? Like Coach Payton said, or do you think the way it's working right now is perfectly fine in your opinion?
No, I think you need to hire full-time refs because, like, watching some of these games and then watching some of the calls that aren't called, it kind of makes you like question, like, come on, I'm a fan and I can clearly tell that's a pass interference. I can clearly tell that this is roughing the kicker, so and so, and it kind of ticked me off a little bit watching Sunday's game, the Cowboys and the Browns. I think it was Joe Hayden guarding Dez Bryant. He pulled his left arm down
on the touchdown catch, right?
Yeah, and Dez could have caught it, but his left arm was being like pulled down, and the referee didn't call that. And I thought it was a clear indication of pass interference, but that wasn't the case. The referee didn't see what I saw, and I guess that's kind of like a good thing. You have like different refs to see like different things, and that's like a good thing, because everybody has like different opinions. I can't see what's in Tony's eyes. I can't see what's in Alex's eyes.
Yeah.
So I guess I kind of understand that, but maybe like it was the angle he was standing at. But I thought even when the replay or anything, I saw it the first time live, that it was clearly a pass interference. So I think, yes, hire some full-time refs that actually not necessarily know what they're doing, but like can actually crack down and just like make a call like that.
Yeah, and then before I let you talk to it quick, now Thomas mentioned that refs from different angles may not see what we see on the TV, because on the TV we see every angle within 10 seconds. The refs are stuck at one angle from a play, and they may not see it. But also another point that Coach Payton brought up after the Saints win against the Carolina Panthers, was Coach Payton wanted to make calls like pass interference or roughing. He wanted to make those challengeable, so you could challenge a pass interference call, have it go up to New York where the NFL building is at, and they have Dean Blandino, who was head of the officiate, have him review it, so you can challenge a pass interference or a holding call in a key situation, or all those calls. You could challenge that. So Tony, what did you want to add on to the officiating crisis?
I want to actually add on to what you said about reviewing that. I mean, that sounds all fine and dandy, but you got to realize that you'd have to incorporate more challenge plays. You'd have to incorporate more timeouts just for that, and it's a lot more than it should be. Like, and it makes it like, I would say, lose the fun in it. It just kind of like you're like making it even a longer game than it has to be. Yeah, a lot of these play calls suck. but I mean, reviewing them is just going to take more time and more effort than it has to. So that's what I have to say about that.
Yeah, I kind of agree with what Tony was saying. That it kind of like ruins like the fun. It kind of like takes the aggressiveness away from football because football is an aggressive sport. All three of us know that, and there's kind of like a fine line between like, oh, that's clearly a foul. That's not aggressiveness. It's clearly pass interference or whatever. And then like aggressiveness is like what you need, and that kind of takes it like a little bit away because you kind of get excuse me. Whoa. You kind of get away with like different calls and stuff like that sometimes.
Yeah, then to bring up another key call that wasn't made early in the season was remember when Atlanta played at Seattle, and in the last minute Matt Ryan threw to Julio, but Sherman clearly held his arm down, and pass interference wasn't called. So I guess to go off of that, I for one am with reviewing. I am one with hiring full-time referees. I think that has to be done in order to keep the game as accurate from a referee standpoint as you can. Because, like I said earlier, these games they can kill a team. If you really think about it, they could kill a team. As far as the playoffs go, trying to make a playoff spot, calls like that, calls that are made or not made, could really hurt a team. And then I, for one, am with the NFL allowing pass interference calls, to be reviewable or to have any kind of flag reviewable. Just because, in my opinion, if the game's on the line and they don't make a call or do make a call that isn't going, that shouldn't have been made, I would definitely want especially if it's like if it's the Cowboys. 4th and 10 from like the 20. Dak throws a bomb to Dez. Dez gets held. No flag is thrown. Now, wouldn't you want Jason Garrett to throw that flag out, to challenge that call and have it overturned? Pass interference, 1st and goal from the 1 for the Cowboys. Wouldn't you want that? Wouldn't that just sound great?
And no.
Yeah. I mean, I want a lot of things, but like, there's a lot of things you just can't have, and like, there's going to be shitty calls, and I'm just going to have to cope with it. It's just something that happens in the NFL. It's just like I wouldn't say natural, but that's a part of it. You're going to get bad calls, and that's just part of the game. You got to suck it up and move on.
Like the Dez catch of 2014. Was that a bad call?
It was a very bad call, but it's 2 years now, and I'm still going to say Dez caught it, but like, I'm not going to still be mad at that ref. I'm just going to kind of like move on because, that was a long time ago, and it's just how the game goes.
I understand because I was mad during the game, but like after the game, like I wasn't like griping over it anymore. I was like, you know what, game is over, and like a couple years from now, people are still talking about it, and it's just like, come on, like you can't change the past, so like why even continue to argue about it? It's done.
That's true. It's a very, very valid statement there by both of you, being Cowboy fans, able to move on from that Dez Bryant catch. I'm proud of you. You too. I'm proud of you two for moving on. I am proud of you two both for moving on from that Dez Bryant call, which I think was a catch as well. But, like Tony said, we're done. Moving on to the next thing we're going to talk about. Anything from the other games this past Sunday? Anything that really caught your eye? That kind of made a statement.
I would. We're gonna talk about Old Reliable, and I think y'all know who I'm gonna be referring to.
Tom Brady?
No.
Peyton Manning?
Someone that is slow as Christmas.
Peyton Manning?
Thought he was. Yes, plays on the Cowboys.
Tony Romo. He's slow. He's broken. Yeah,
he's old.
Jason Witten.
Oh, that guy. The 32-year-old who we all swear is past 50. Yeah. Talk about Witten, Tony. Tell us what you thought about Witten's game this week.
I'm going to be a little biased. Witten's my favorite Dallas Cowboy player of all time. And a lot of people, today, tight ends are really like receivers. They're just a little bit slower receivers. That's all they are. Jimmy Graham is a prime example. Dude's tall as hell, and he doesn't, not really that buff, but he looks like a receiver.
Right, yeah.
And Jason Witten is still he plays that true tight end form where he can make those impact blocks, and he can go out for a pass. And he and a lot of teams are just not as you can see, just kind of overlook him now because he's slow, and he's just basically he's just really slow, and they just kind of leave him up, and they rather put someone else on the double coverage, and they let the man free. That's not very smart because he actually has some quickness. He can actually he can truck you, as we saw against Cincinnati, and he can come down with it. He can honestly get enough height. He's tall enough and has enough hops to catch it, and he has the hand. He has gigantic hands that can steal every single catch he makes. I think he's very I wouldn't say underrated, but very overlooked in today's age because we have Gronk, Jimmy Graham, very pass that are not really run blockers, but more pass catchers.
Yeah, Witten probably is the last of a dying breed. I guess you could say in the NFL of run blocking first tight ends rather than passing tight ends. I could agree with that. Thomas, anything you saw from this week's games that really caught your attention?
Honestly, I watched a lot of games, and I honestly don't remember anything. It's my memory was just wiped away. I'm being honest. I watched a few games, and honestly don't remember that much for some reason.
That's Tony Romo wiping your mind of Dak Prescott's game against the Browns.
The football gods still holding a grudge
against your Mark Sanchez. Well, hey, for the record, buddy, let's just congratulate.
It worked.
Let's congratulate Thomas here because at the end of the game, Mark Sanchez actually got in, for some playing time. So let's just.
I didn't actually not see that part.
Yeah, at the end of the game, he came in. So we'll have Tristan edit a round of applause for you right here, Thomas, to congratulate you. To congratulate you.
Honestly, was pretty happy about that. I was actually taking a crap, and my brother came and knocked on the door, and he's like, someone else is in. And I was like, what? And he was like, Mark Sanchez is in. And I was like, oh, cool. And I just
that's your boy.
Went about my business.
I mean, oh, Mark. Well, hey, for the record, Thomas, and to add it on, Sanchez was 1 of 1 for 8 yards. If that adds satisfaction,
still better than Tony Romo this year,
Come on, dude. Don't do Romo like that. Don't throw him in the Mark Sanchez comparison. That's not funny. But
it's pretty messed up.
It's okay, Thomas. I got 2 takeaways to make up. To add on. So I think the first one, which I think no one is talking about enough, in my opinion, the Colts and Green Bay game.
That's right.
The Colts came out on fire. They were up 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. And they ended up holding all the Packers at the end. But it's what is wrong with the Packers? I mean, this is supposed to be, Aaron Rodgers, Jordy Nelson. It's supposed to be a super powered offense. And the Colt defense, which, by the way, was down 2 of their starting corners.
Vontae Davis
and Patrick Robinson, I believe, was the other corner. Both out with injury. And Rodgers struggled early on. He struggled the entire game until it came on in the end. But it's just what's wrong with Green Bay? This should be a one of the best offenses in football. Always had a solid defense. And they're 4-4 now. They're 4-4 at the midpoint. And then I can't relax like Aaron Rodgers tells everyone to just to relax. I can't do that because this team is really worried. This team is worrying me because you look at the division. This could be one of the worst divisions right now in football. I think Detroit is slowly on the come up. I think Detroit could really take away this division the way they're playing football right now. And Green Bay is now playing Green Bay Packer football. And then again, I give credit to the Colts. Andrew Luck and the Colts came out as a really big underdog. And to see them beat the Colts silly was pretty funny. Also, the funnier thing was...
Packers?
I mean, the Packers. The funniest thing, though, was seeing that squirrel on the sideline. Y'all see the squirrel in the end zone?
I
Yeah.
did not actually.
Yeah, they stopped the game because there was a squirrel in the end zone. It was first and goal, and they were marching in. They they blew the whistle. Everyone's looking around like, what's going on? They see a squirrel on the end zone, just running around.
What the heck?
And the caption on Twitter was, "The squirrels found the end zone more times than the Packers have." I was like, man, that's not funny, but it's true. It's true.
It's kind of funny.
Um,
It actually is funny.
yeah. Take that, Aaron Rodgers. Your squirrel.
And it does kind of suck, like the way this Packers team is going, because on paper they should be a dominant
Yeah.
team, both on defense and offense. But of course, they're losing a lot of players on defense, and then on offense, it just seems like they're losing their confidence. Especially and I think it kind of started during the game versus Dallas, because I think they went in that game at Lambeau Field thinking that this is going to be an easy win. This is going to be an easy win at Lambeau Field. You know, we got the fans and we got everything on our side. Yeah, rookie quarterback and running back. So I think not Aaron Rodgers, but the entire team was like, all right, this is going to be a win. And I think when they finally lost, they were like, oh wow. And then I think it's kind of like starting to go downhill from that. They're starting to lose their confidence because they're starting to think like, oh, we can't beat a team like Dallas, thinking like Dallas is a bad team, or like other teams. I think this. Go ahead.
I was say it's the Zeke and Dak effect. That's what I'm calling this now. It's the Zeke and Dak effect.
The Dak attack.
When Zeke and Dak destroy you, you're just not the same afterwards. That's how I'm seeing it. When Zeke and Dak play you and just flat out beat you, yeah, I could see why Green Bay's confidence is low. And then you mentioned the injuries. Yeah, they lost several corners to injury alone. They lost Sam Shields. They lost Randall, their other top corner. And on the offense, they can't run the ball. They cannot run the ball. They have
no running back.
They have a wide receiver.
T.Y. Montgomery.
Yeah, Ty
but
Montgomery.
He's a receiver, you know.
Yeah, and that's I don't know. James Stark is supposed to come back in a couple of weeks, but without a running game,
Will it be in time?
Yeah, exactly. It's just without a running game, I don't know what this team's gonna do because they cannot run they can't rely on Aaron to throw the ball every time because that's what it's coming down to now, and Aaron just can't do that for some reason this year, which is rather startling and stunning to everyone else because we all thought this would be like Tom said, a team on paper should be really good, should be 6-2, 7-1, and they just haven't done that, and it's just it's shocking, in my opinion. And my other takeaway, gotta throw in my boy from New Orleans, Mark Ingram. Just give the man credit. Give the man props for
Oh, I
what he
do. It's
went through.
because I had him in my other league, so I mean, I am not upset.
I mean, I know this is the worst rushing defense in NFL. The Niners, they have now allowed a 100-yard rusher in 7 straight games, which that's bad. But hey, I mean, Ingram getting benched in Seattle. Didn't even play the rest of the Seattle game. Tim Hightower got the start this week. Hightower got most of the carries in the first part of the first quarter, and then when Ingram broke off that 75-yard touchdown run, ooh, I thought, all right, Mark Ingram. You've gained my trust, and I think you should. I think he deserves to split the carries with Hightower because this is a very dynamic running back duo, Hightower and Mark Ingram. Them together, it's pretty good to see. And Drew Brees once again, in my opinion, probably second best quarterback in the NFL, probably behind Brady. But hey, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, solid game. Really can't complain about it. And yeah, so those are my takeaways. The Colts upsetting the Packers, and then New Orleans handing the loss to the 49ers. That's what I think. So we're going to jump to now. It's a segment called Panic or Patience. It's where it's where I list out the teams that are at 500 right now, or that are right around just because of bye weeks. Bye weeks that they've had or haven't had. So, and then we'll all debate. This is a team that should be panicking right now halfway through the season, or this team that could be on the rise. You should just be patient with them and see what happens for the second half of the season. So we'll start off with the AFC East. The Dolphins are 4-4, surprisingly. Forget about Miami; they're 4-4. Do you guys think this team that should be panicking, or you have patience for a young Tannehill on the Dolphin team?
I'll let Thomas go because I know he probably has a good opinion about this.
Thanks. I would say you have patience with them because I feel like Ryan Tannehill is like finally coming alive. He wasn't doing too good in the early start of the season, and he's starting to feel himself again. And then you have Jay Ajayi, who's just he's becoming consistent now. He's becoming like he's that starting role. He's kind of getting into that position to just tear it up. And I think that you just like be a little patient. Jarvis Landry's not doing too well, but he's doing decent. I think he has to do better. He has to step up as that wide receiver 1. And I think that there's gotta be patient. I think they can do decent.
Not to mention this is Adam Gase's first year as the Dolphins' first year head coach, and like Thomas mentioned, Ajayi has really stepped up and taken over that number 1 running back role with the Dolphins. And Tannehill he's not bad. Just hear me out. Tannehill's not bad. He's not. He's solid. I'll say that he's solid. And I think if you give him another year with Adam Gase in his offense, I think you'll see a blossom because last year it was Matt Ryan's first year in Kyle Shanahan's offense, and Ryan got he was meh all year, and now he's blowing up in the NFL. So I think the same thing could happen for Tannehill. Just this team's gonna be good, I think, in the near future. But I think you stay patient with the Dolphins as well. I agree.
All right. So do you want to hear my opinion?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't. I'm on that line where, they honestly I can see them coming up, but I mean, they have to keep it rolling. They have to, I wouldn't say necessarily panic. They just need to ensure they need to make sure they can secure that. I'm sold on Jay Ajayi now. He's starting to really be consistent. Like Thomas said, like at the beginning of the year, he was very inconsistent. But he, like Thomas said, he's coming that starting position. He's actually filling that role in, and he's just rolling with it now. He's kind of in sync with everybody, and that's exactly what you want. Tannehill, I am not completely sold on him. I think I gave him a lot of faith in the beginning of the year. I gave him a lot of trust. I was like, you know what? It's just the team's going to the slow start, but I kind of lost it towards the end. He can honestly regain it. He just has to make the smart decisions, make those big plays, and just get the job done. But overall, I wouldn't necessarily say they have to panic, or not, and they can't be patient with it either. I think they need to just kind of keep it. I can't really explain it. They just need to make
stay
they
consistent.
Can't just be patient. Yeah, they just can't be patient. But they don't necessarily have to panic. They have to, I wouldn't even say worry. They just have to, got to stay on your toes. That's exactly what they need to do. Stay on their toes. And just keep it going, Yeah,
because, hey, if you're in a division with New England, like you mentioned, you got to be off to a hot start. You got to keep that start going because if you fall behind Tom Brady and the Patriots, it is very hard to overcome that. So,
I don't think they're going to overcome the Patriots.
Oh, no.
But, they can easily fight for a wild card spot.
Yeah, so the next team, we talked about them earlier, they're sitting right below 500 just because of the bye week situation. But the Buffalo Bills, 4-5. is this a team that you should really kind of be panicking with, or is this a team that you just got to be patient with?
I'll let Thomas go again.
Thomas, you're getting all the lucky. It's going good for you. Your Sanchez 3 worked out well. Tony's letting you get first in these debates. Thomas,
I kind of
today,
feel like
just
he's
your
setting
day.
me up for something. He's setting me up for the kill. I can tell.
Oh no, I just I don't want us to have these awkward silence.
Yeah,
all these
I
awkward
understand.
pauses. So I just want to let you, because you're more in depth than I am. So.
All right. Well, I would say you be patient because you guys know I love this team. I don't know what about it. I love the Buffalo Bills. I don't know why. I'm really high on Tyrod Taylor and LaShawn McCoy, and honestly, they're not doing bad. What you said, they're like 4-5, 4-4.
4-5, just because of they haven't had a bye week yet, so they're 4-5 right now.
I honestly that's not bad. It's really not. The season's not over yet. I think you got to be patient. It kind of sucks because you don't have that leading wide receiver. Sammy Watkins is out, and you don't really have that leading wide receiver. But I think you can make it work with the running game. Just make up for it. And Tyrod Taylor's not a bad quarterback either. He can run the ball. He can pass the ball. He's not necessarily accurate or great, but he's decent enough to actually lead his team to victories and stuff like this. And I think you got to be patient with them.
Patient.
And I think if you are patient with them, I think they'll be number 2 in the AFC East.
Oh, finishing behind or ahead of the patient team we just mentioned, the Dolphins. I like it. Thomas, you are one of my very good friends. Just know that. But I'm panicking from the Bills. In all seriousness, I am panicking because you split with the Patriots already. You lost to the Dolphins when Jay ran for 200 yards on your defense, a Rex Ryan defense, which does not happen. You mentioned the receiver problem. This is one of the worst passing offenses in the NFL, simply because they don't have the receivers that can get open down the field, can make the plays when they need to. I will say you were right with the running game. I really do like Tyrod Taylor and LaShawn McCoy put together. That is a very deadly duo. And then, like I said, about the Seattle game, that game could really determine the Bills' season. In all seriousness, that might be their final, the last game they could afford to lose, being 4-5 behind the Patriots. You're 1-3 in the division, 1-3. You lost to the Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins and the Patriots. So, if I'm Rex Ryan, I'm panicking right now. In all seriousness, I'm panicking because you got to find a way to get your receivers, make plays, and find a way to help out your defense, because this Bills defense is not as good as people think it is. They are struggling in the passing game, especially. You saw Brady throw for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns a couple weeks ago. Russell Wilson had his way with the defense last night, in my opinion.
It is Tom Brady.
Almost. That's true. I'll give you that. But Ryan Fitzpatrick had his way up Thursday night, finishing with over 250 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Bills.
Good point.
Fitzpatrick, the guy who threw 9 touchdowns in 2 games, or 9 picks in 2 games, was solid against the Bills. So I'm panicking from the Bills. I'm panicking.
I guess it's my turn, and I'm probably gonna have to agree with Alec with this, because I also agree with Thomas. There's something about the Bills that I like. I love ever since LaShawn McCoy left Philly, like I said last week, I've fallen in love with him. He is just a great running back. He gets the job done. He plays like he is in his mid-20s. Like he is not even close to being what is he? How old is he?
Shady's been in the league since 2009, so I'd say not even 30 years old yet. He's still got a couple of years before he hits 30.
Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't even say that he's in his late I'm saying he's in his early 20s, mid, kind of around there, 24, still young, still relatively young running. And I'm saying, he's playing like he's young, and he's 28 years old around there. He's not bad at all. And I'm actually sold on Tyrod Taylor. He can he's that dynamic player. You know, he can run with it. He can throw it deep down the field, as we saw against Seattle. He might have these little errors here and there, but that's just a quarterback mistake. But I think, and I agree with Thomas. They need that number one, and that's why they should be panicking. Because, I mean, you can't. You're just gonna have to wait until next year to get one. Because y'all brought back Percy Harvin. That dude is not gonna bring that that skill.
He's not gonna revive the passing game.
Exactly, and that's just not gonna get the job done. So I would be really panicking right now. But their defense can. I think their defense just needs stick to their assignments. But I think the passing game is just really what's killing them. So yeah, I'd be a little worried if I was Rex Ryan right now.
And honestly, you guys made some good points, and I think if I was a different person, I'd probably agree with you on the panicking thing. But it's just I don't know why. It's just something's telling me to be patient with them.
Yeah,
I don't know what is.
Yeah, I don't blame you because this is a good Buffalo team, but like I mentioned earlier, one of the worst passing games in the NFL, and this is a passing league nowadays. Tyrod Taylor needs a number one receiver, not a bunch of 2s and 3s who are trying to make up for number one. But I agree with you. But I love LaShawn McCoy. I know you don't like him. He was an Eagle, but I thought he was really cold in his entire career.
I thought he was great as an Eagle. I'm not going to be biased. I thought he was great.
But yeah, he's Shady McCoy. He is something else. But yeah, so moving on, the Ravens, they're 4-4. They're actually at top of the division right now. They're 4-4, 2-0 in the division. But what do you guys think about Baltimore? Is this a panicking situation, or are you guys gonna be patient with the Ravens?
Tony, you go first.
Oh, thanks. I think I'm gonna have to say I like the Ravens a lot too, but I'm gonna have to say you're gonna have to panic on that one because your running game is pretty weak. Terrence Williams. Whoa. Terrence West isn't all that great. Joe Flacco is all right. He's solid. But Steve Smith Sr. He was set to retire last year. He knew where his body was at, and he tore his ACL and just couldn't give up like that. So there's the receivers are they're decent. They're solid as well. Defense is not all that great. Not anything what they used to be. Because you haven't heard anything about C.J. Mosley or Elvis Dumervil. And they're actually still playing. It's just, they're
not making plays.
Doing anything. I think Terrell Suggs is out right now.
Yeah, he's battling an injury. Yeah.
Yeah, so and their secondary is not all that great either. So I wouldn't even be panicking. I would just kind of be like, you just coast it. You just try to get for a high draft pick.
If I'm Baltimore right now, I would let me think. I hit the panic button on the Ravens as well. I hit the panic button. I'm a panic machine today. I panic with the Ravens simply for two reasons. One, this team is averaging 19 points a game. In the NFL, that does not get it done unless you are the Minnesota Vikings. Then you have a chance. But no, if this team is averaging 19 points, you can't do anything. And like you said, Tony, Terrence, I'll blame Terrence West for this one as well. Terrence West had a good start, but now the Ravens' rushing game has kind of disappeared. And then Flacco, in my opinion, Flacco is playing awful this season, I think. Flacco is not getting it done. Maybe because of the ACL injury he had last year, but Flacco was not getting it done. Your best receiver is way past his prime in Steve Smith Jr. And like I said, Tony, the Ravens' defense, it should be good on paper, or it should be at least top 15, but they're just not making plays. And it's just, that hurts your team when you don't make the plays. I mean, you beat the Steelers this week, but that's because Big Ben came back from his first game. Big Ben, his career when he comes back from injuries, first game, he's 2-6. I mean, those numbers. I'm not sold on Baltimore on that win Sunday, so I am panicking if I'm the Ravens right now.
Yeah, I agree, but I don't agree when you said that the number one wide receiver is Steve Smith. I think the number one wide receiver that they have is Mike Wallace. That's just my personal opinion. I think Mike Wallace is doing a lot better than Steve Smith. And I think you do hit the panic button. Is like you said, the rushing game is not doing too well. And then you're on paper, your number one wide receiver, Steve Smith, is not doing well. Mike Wallace is like kind of overshadowing him. And then Joe Flacco's not playing that well either. You know, Terrell Suggs is out. And then you haven't really heard much from Dumerville or Weddle, so on the defensive side. So it kind of sucks. I say you kind of panic on this one.
Yeah, because, I mean, do you guys remember 2012 when the Ravens were when the Super Bowl? Flacco was like 11 touchdowns and no picks in the playoffs, and that defense went out in a blaze of glory for Ray Lewis.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I remember those times too. Those were
not anymore.
2012 was a long time ago, guys. Let's just.
That's when Thomas, you were in middle school, and Alec and I were just freshmen.
Yeah, we were freshmen. Thomas, you were in middle school, man.
Yeah.
So time flies for the Ravens, I guess. Yeah, you were past your prime, Baltimore. But the next team, the Steelers, they're 4-4. They're 1-1 in the division after that loss to Baltimore on Sunday. Are you patient with the Steelers, or do you consider hitting the panic button?
I'll go. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because I want to say be patient with them because I don't think they're a bad team. I think they're just on a rough patch. But I mean, your star quarterback is not producing. He's not. You haven't really heard much, or I haven't at least heard much from Le'Veon Bell.
That's true.
He's supposed to be that running back, you know, like coming into the season, he's kind of highly rated. And same thing with Antonio Brown. Yeah, I just haven't heard that much from either one of those three. So it kind of sucks. I say you kind of panic on this one.
Oh, okay. You know, I think the panic monster inside of me is gone now. So after coming to, oh yeah, when we get to the NFC, I got tons of panics just for the NFC, But for right now, it's gone. Look, Big Ben doing what he does. He gets hurt. He tries to come back from injury. A little too soon, I think. Usually every time. But I still think this Steeler team probably is going to win the division, in my opinion. I think. They are a good team still. I think when Big Ben gets healthy, he'll get back in the rhythm. He'll get Le'Veon Bell the ball again and get the receptions and the rushing yards. I think him and Brown and Antonio might get back into a groove. And this defense actually is not that bad as it was in years past. This defense actually is somewhat solid. A bunch of young talent, and of course the ageless wonder James Harrison, who could probably bench more than my entire house weighs probably. He's still playing football somehow. So I think you're patient. I think you just give Big Ben some time to heal, and you're patient with the Steelers. That's what I think. Tony?
Now I'll go. And I'm agreeing on Alec with this one, too. You know, like saying Big Ben's coming back, you know, just got to give it a little time, you know. And, you know, Antonio Brown, one of the most dynamic receivers in the league, you know. Has the speed, has like this great athleticism, you know, and Le'Veon Bell, one of the best running backs in the league too. They can get it done. It's just, you know, you just got to be patient, you know. And their defense is not bad at all. Very solid. I could put them in if, you know, when the offense gets rolling, you know, the defense can produce, you know, those big stops, you know. Like what they need. So just be patient with them. You know, they can easily win that division because they have it's them, the Browns, the Ravens, and who else?
Cincy.
And since he's decent, it's just
The
Andy Dalton.
team, the team
Can
that tied in London. I will say this: there is hope for the Steelers for one simple reason. Do you know why there is hope for the Steelers?
No.
Because they still play the Browns twice, so there's always hope in
That's a good
Pittsburgh.
point.
You play the Browns
plot
twice
twist,
a
it's
year.
trap game.
Didn't we think that last week though? Didn't we think the Cowboy Brown game was gonna be a trap game?
Yes.
And I think if it was a trap, as in the Browns trapped themselves, I think you're right. Definitely was a trap game. Yeah, so I think patient with Steelers. We'll see what happens there. Moving on, Thomas, this was your sleeper team last week. 4-5, Tennessee. Let me just say for the record, they put up one great fight against the Chargers. That was a great game to watch.
I was really rooting for him.
That was a great game to watch from start to finish. I mean, Mariota and Rivers going back and forth, Melvin Gordon and Murray exchanging hard-blowing hits, and that was a great game. But yeah, Tennessee, do we panic or are we patient with the Titans? And Thomas, since this is your team, we'll give you the nod on this one.
Well, before I say, I was like watching the end of the game, and it was just crazy because I honestly felt like a little kid. I honestly felt like that was my childhood team. Like I was just watching it for like the first time ever, and I was just like on the edge of my seat, and I was like, "Wow, come on! I really want them to win," and they didn't, and I just felt so let down, and I kind of hate to say it, but I think you panicked just a little bit.
What?
Because like Marcus Mariota, he's not a good quarterback. He's really not that good. He's all right, in my opinion. But he's not that good. And I think the only players do you really have is DeMarco Murray and Delaney Walker. Kendall Wright, he's all right. He's producing a little bit. Sharp hasn't really been producing that much. And I think you just got to panic just a little bit because your offense needs to be putting up like way more. In my opinion, I think this offense is great. I mean, you got DeMarco Murray. He's the second best rusher in the league. And I don't know, man. It's kind of hard to say. I really don't want to say panic. Like I'm not like full on like 100% panic. I'm like,
but your hands hovering over that button.
I'm like 50.9%.
So your hand is your hand hovering over the button, or is your hand just next to the button?
My like the presence, like you can like my shadow's hovering over the button.
That's good, but hey, I think Tennessee's a nice team. They're a good young football team. I don't think you necessarily hit panic yet. I think you're patient just for the one simple reason they're playing in the AFC South. I mean, last year the team won 8 games, won 8 games and went to the playoffs. The Texans, and they're only in first place by 2 games. And Brock Osweiler is your quarterback.
They're putting up some good numbers too.
Yeah, and I think Mariota's I agree with you. I think Mariota's a average at best quarterback. I think he's kind of risky with the football. Sometimes tries to force and make a play happen when he shouldn't, and it results in a turnover. But I think you're patient with the Titans. I think because this division is just really not that good every year. So I think you just you ride it out and see what happens at the end of the year.
All right. It is my turn yet again. I'm going to stay patient with them because, I honestly think Mariota's not a bad quarterback. I think, he's just trying to get it done with what he has, and it's a little difficult whenever you don't have any really star receiver on that team. So I don't blame it on them. I kind of blame it more on the defense, But their defense is solid enough to make stops. But I can stay patient with them. I think they can get there. Just gotta let it take. Let Mariota develop week by week. He can get it done.
I like it. So, moving on to the NFC, We'll start off in the best division in the NFC, the NFC East. We're not panicking on the Cowboys because they are clearly in no need of panicking right now. So hop over to the Eagles. They are 4-4. Carson Wentz looked great those first couple of games, but he's kind of struggled as of late. So, you two being Cowboy fans, do you panic, or do you stay patient with the Eagles?
You can go first, Tony.
Yeah, it's actually. Can I go first on this one? Actually, but I would panic because you have Washington right behind you, or actually they're in front of them now, aren't they?
Yeah,
because the tie really saves them at this point because they tied with the Bengals.
Yeah, you have
So they're in front.
Washington. You have Washington, who is actually a solid team. You know, Kirk Cousins is actually not that bad of a quarterback. You know, they have Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garcon, and their running backs are a little, but nothing to be too worried about. Yeah, and you have New York still, who's actually starting to get things rolling.
They're
Like they
5-3.
before.
They're 5-3.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd be worrying if I was Philly because you're actually at one point they were number one, weren't they in that division?
They were undefeated at one point, yeah.
And now you're at the very bottom. I'd be worried because Dallas. I'm gonna be a little biased, but real too tough to handle right now. So I would be really panicking if I was Philly.
Right, and I probably agree with you on this one. I'm hitting the panic button if I'm the Eagles, just because offensively, Carson Wentz, he's shown the rookie mistakes that we were expecting early in the year. He showed them the last couple of games. He showed those rookie mistakes that you expect from a rookie quarterback. And there's no help for him because the running game is not as great. Considering you have Darren Sproles as your starter going into last week against the Giants, that didn't help him out at all. And also, this receiving core is not that good at all. There's a reason why they were trying to trade for a veteran receiver before the deadline happened because this receiving core is below average in my opinion. Jordan Matthews is the only decent receiver they have. So there's that. Yeah, that says a lot. Jordan Matthews is your number one receiver. You might want to trade for someone, honestly. But
I honestly think Nelson Aguilar is pretty good. I like him.
He's pretty good, but he's still number 2 behind Jordan Matthews.
Yeah, that's true.
Which would Carson Wentz just needs help from his skill position players, and defensively, you saw Eli Manning picked apart the defense. Odell Beckham went off. Eli Manning had 4 touchdowns. This defense, I think Eli exposed them for the first time this week. So if I'm Philly, I'm back to the panic button monster. I'm hitting that button repeatedly until it breaks.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with hitting the panic button that hard. I do agree you have to hit it because the Eagles were kind of on a roll at the beginning of the season. They beat the Vikings, who were the hottest team in the league at one point.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of sucks when you go from beating the hottest team in the league to last in your division. And I think that kind of says something. It's kind of showing who the Eagles are. Like they're not that good of a team right now. And I think you got to let them develop. You got to bring in some veterans because it seems like this team has a few, Darren Sproles being one of them. And Darren Sproles is not really that good in my opinion. I don't think he's that good. He's fast, he's short, but he's not that good.
He's
and
not
this
a
team,
starter. You can't rely on him to get you 10 or more carries a game because he's just so small. Yeah.
And this team as a whole is just struggling. So you got to panic with them, especially with Carson Wentz, who's just proven that he's not as good as he was at the beginning of the season.
Nice. Moving on to another NFC East team, the Washington Redskins. Are you patient with them? They're 4-3-1 because of that tie against the Bengals. and jolly old London. So do you panic or are you chilling for the Redskins?
I'm chilling with the Redskins. I think you be patient with them because I like this team. I really do, and Tony might get mad at me for saying that. But I like this team. I like Kirk Cousins. I like Josh Norman. I like Matt Jones, Deshaun Jackson, Jordan Reed. I love Jordan Reed. I really like this team. So I think that they're not doing bad. All right. I don't think they're doing bad. I think you just got to give them a moment to just build momentum. And once they build that momentum, I think that not necessarily they'll be unstoppable, but I think they'll maybe reach second in the NFC East.
Make a fight for the wild card spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. I'm chilling if I'm a Redskins fan from the Redskins organization. I'm chilling because like you both mentioned earlier, Kirk Cousins is actually he's proven he's not a bad quarterback. He can put up numbers and he can be clutch when he needs to be. He's not a bad quarterback. I like his supporting cast is probably, in my opinion, it's one of the better ones in the NFL simply because you have solid players at every position. You have Jordan Reed at tight end. You have Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, and even Jameson Crowder, who came on in that London game. As we saw, he came alive in that London game. So you have three solid receivers, a great tight end, and you have an okay running game with Matt Jones leading
Robert
the way.
Kelly.
And Kelly, exactly. Leading and them two. It's a running back by committee group, but it's a solid running back by committee group the Redskins have. And their defense, I love Josh Norman now that he's out of my division. I'll say that much. I love the aggressive nature that he is simply because he's not afraid to take a chance. As you saw against London, he got flagged 5 times for pass interference or defensive holding. He's not afraid to take those chances, and it's good for the Redskins to have that corner who can, take away the number one receiver. Because in a division with Odell Beckham and Dez Bryant, that helps out a lot, I'd imagine. So, yeah, if I'm the Redskins, I'm patient. I'm chilling. If I am the Redskins.
Tony.
I'm gonna, be chilling just like y'all.
We're all chilling. We're all chilling on the Redskin bandwagon, guys. Well, not bandwagon, but
there's when you have a good passing, like I was saying earlier, you got Kirk Cousins, who's actually a pretty good quarterback. All those reasons I said before, and like why Philly needs to be worried. That's why Washington just needs to be chilling. They just need to worry about beating New York, which is very doable. So I wouldn't be worried at all. They have Josh Norman, who's actually a pretty good corner. I'm not gonna, dog him that much like I did Richard Sherman. I do think sometimes Norman's a little punk sometimes, but I still think he's a fairly good corner. But yeah, there's no need to panic with Washington.
Nice.
Ticket scores.
Nice. All right, so we got 2 teams left. In this little segment. So we got this one should be a panic regardless, and if not, you just need to get out of this call. If you click patient. The Green Bay Packers, they're 4-4. I think. Yeah, I'll let one of you start because I think we all have a lot to say about the Packers right now. So just take it away. Whoever wants to start it off.
I guess I'll go. Yeah, I think it's a pretty clear decision, clear as water, that these guys, you got to panic on them. Aaron Rodgers is not the top tier quarterback that he was, and that's not saying that he can't be that top tier quarterback again. It's just he's not that top tier quarterback now, and the running game is just it's struggling. You have a wide receiver starting at running back. And even though he's built like a running back and even though he runs like one, it doesn't change the fact that you have no one in that backfield to really lead that team. Clay Matthews is just he's not impressing me. Jordy Nelson's not impressing me. Randall Cobb is not impressing me. The only one that's really impressing me is Ty Montgomery. He's not even doing that good. So it kind of sucks, and you have a whole bunch of corners and defensive players that are out. So you got to struggle. I mean, you got to panic on these guys.
Oh yes, I agree 100%. You are panic. You know, earlier I said you're hitting the panic button if you're the Eagles. You fear the Eagles. Well, yeah, I'm grabbing a sledgehammer. I'm smashing that button if I'm a Packer fan, just because this is bad. Because the Green Bay Packers have never been this bad in years with Aaron Rodgers under quarterback. You know, like Thomas said, Ty Montgomery is your best running back. He used to play running back in college, but
He's your
switched
best
to
player on the
receiver.
team, like
He's-
now.
Yeah, and he switched to receiver, and now he's back at running back. And it's just and the funny thing is, do y'all know who the backup running back is for the Packers right now?
No one.
It's Randall
Oh,
Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
It's Randall Cobb, exactly. Another receiver as a backup running back. So it's just they can't run the ball to save their life. Aaron Rodgers is forced to make every single throw possible, and he just something's off about Aaron this year. He's not the same Aaron Rodgers we're used to seeing. And, you know, like Thomas mentioned, this defense has suffered so many injuries, especially in the secondary. And it's starting to show finally. So, yeah, if I'm Green Bay, I'm going to grab a sledgehammer and just smash that panic button into an oblivion. It's that bad because Detroit's on the rise, I think, honestly. Detroit's the team on the rise.
Of course.
And Minnesota's already beat them once. Green Bay they already lost to Minnesota a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, if I'm Green Bay, I'm panicking.
I'm next, of course, and I'm going to agree with everybody. I'd be panicking because Aaron Rodgers is just not Aaron Rodgers. There's something wrong this season. There's, something's not going. There's just something mentally that's just not there. You have no running game. T.Y. Montgomery is a receiver. I don't care what you say he did in college. He's a receiver. T.Y.
It's T.Y.
I don't care.
Is that how it's pronounced? Is it pronounced Ty?
No, it's Ty Montgomery, but I guess it's he doesn't deserve his name to be pronounced right because he's a running back now for the Packers.
I would say T.Y. because I don't know because I know T.Y. Hilton, T.Y. Montgomery.
Good point.
Even though he has the two periods, but anyway, moving on. He's a receiver, not a running back. Randall Cobb is he was starting to get there, and then he got hurt. Jordy Nelson is just not doing anything either. Defense, you have no corners whatsoever. Your run defense is not bad, but that only gets you so far. So, if I'm the Packers, I'd be panicking or I'll just tank it because this is not y'all's year. Chicago can honestly beat them.
Whoa.
I agree.
Whoa.
We saw what Chicago did to Minnesota.
I mean,
honestly.
I mean, but Aaron Rodgers, they did beat the Bears earlier in the season. I mean,
But I think
That was
the
earlier
Bears
in the
can
season
come
when
back.
Aaron Rodgers.
come
was Aaron
on.
Rodgers.
Now it kind of seems like, all right, like Space Jam, where like the players like they have like their powers like sucked out of them. That's kind of what it looks like when I watch Aaron Rodgers play now. It's just like he's not himself.
You're making a Space Jam reference. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That's smart. I don't blame you. I'll give you, Thomas. You get points for that one. You're on a roll today, buddy. Keep it up.
If we're talking about sports in general, real quick, news just came in that the Rangers are staying in Arlington. So
Oh, so they did get the stadium proposed then. Like it's gonna happen in the new stadium.
yep.
Nice.
Fun fact: Ezekiel Elliott has the number one selling jersey in the league.
Ooh.
Oh, I am planning to buy his jersey probably for Christmas or maybe even sooner.
Ooh. Fun fact: the number 2 jersey selling in the NFL right now. Guess who it is? Y'all know who it is?
Dak Prescott. No, Dak Prescott's number 5.
No, it's Tony Romo. Don't at me.
Are you serious?
No, I'm just kidding. He probably is number 112.
Well, all right.
He's probably behind Johnny Manziel now at this point.
Whoa.
I mean, hey, you see those jerseys on sale for like $10. I mean, it's an NFL jersey.
All right.
But anyway,
Next team.
yeah, the last team. So I'm gonna go first, just because I'm gonna be super biased on this one.
Oh, okay. I'm already typing it down.
the New Orleans Saints are 4-4. I'll start off first. I'm patient with the Saints simply because, yes,
I wonder why.
I don't know. It's just a guess from what I've seen on TV from them. They look no, but also just this team. It was a Drew Brees pass credit team, which it still is. It's still a pass first team, but Sean Payton realized, hey, I have a first round pick from Alabama, and I don't run the ball with him enough. And Mark Ingram had a great game last week, and then you have Tim Hightower, a guy who was out of football for 3 years. Come back last year, and then he picks up the tough, dirty yards that running backs carry, or the tough yards that you give, the 2 or 3 yard gains, and you have Brandon Cooks, Willie Snead, them two together are pretty good. In my opinion, Michael Thomas is the best rookie wide receiver in the NFL. Don't at me, I think it's true.
Do this again.
Kobe Fleener is getting in the offense finally, I think, and the defense it's doing enough. It does just enough to win games for the offense. So I'm patient with the Saints. Their defense is slowly improving, and they still have one of the best offenses in the NFL. So I think this is a team that could be on the rise.
Yeah, I honestly I agree. You be patient with them. To be honest, nobody on the defense is really impressing me, but like you said, they're doing enough. They're doing enough to to produce. And
right.
I really like Drew Brees in this situation. I like Michael Thomas, Mark Ingram, Hightower, Cooks. I like these guys, and I think they're doing well. And like you said, just be patient with them, and they're going to be on the rise.
Yeah, this defense week by week it gets slowly better, and then they just got Delvin Breaux, their top corner, and Sheldon Ranking is their first round pick back from injuries against the Niners this past week. So yeah, I like them. Sorry to butt Antonio, but my inner Saints fan came out, so I'll let you take it away.
New Orleans, I'm going to say be patient because they're starting to find their way. I think they don't have to really worry about Tampa Bay all that much because, they're just not all that great. Atlanta, I think, is going to win that division, though. Matt Ryan and his receiving core is pretty strong. So, and you got Devontae Freeman, who's who hasn't been showing up like he usually does, but still puts up consistent numbers. Gets that job done. And I think is Tevin Coleman back or is he still hurt?
He was still he hasn't played. He hasn't come back yet from that rib injury.
Okay. Their defense is, still good enough, but, I wouldn't be worried too much. I'd only worry about that defense, but y'all are still getting players back from injury. So I wouldn't be worried too much. You got, Drew Brees, who's top 3 quarterback easily. You have Mark Ingram, who's actually not bad, just had a bad week against, what's it called?
Against back-to-back fumbles.
Yeah, against Seattle. He just had that bad week. I don't say he's a bad running back. He just had that bad week against Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if I was New Orleans, I wouldn't be too worried because you got a good receiving core, really good quarterback in the backfield, good running back, solid O-line. Everything's just solid. I would be a little skeptical about your defense, linebacker, and not really linebacker, but D-line really.
Yeah, D-line is probably the one thing because the Saints probably signed 2 of the better linebackers in free agency that no one's talking about: Nate Stupar and Craig Robinson, my boy from UNT. Both of them originally were signed for special team purposes, but injuries came along, and them two that played pretty well together. So week by week they get better and better. Slowly, you see improvements. But all I'm gonna say is week 17, last week of the season, it's the Saints at the Falcons. So that game could have some serious playoff implications if it all goes well for New Orleans, I think. So you heard it here first. Our teams that are panicking or that we're going to stay patient with. So 2 more things before we're done today, guys. Really quick, we get to go through our upsets and our locks for this game. So we keep records. So as of right now, everyone knows Thomas is 1-1. His lines came through, and then his Bills folded. Well, the refs folded. We'll say that the refs folded. Tony is 2-0 with his picks. He picked the Raiders last week and the Cowboys. And I went back and looked. Actually, I am undefeated as well. I had New Orleans as a lock, and I had the Colts as an upset, which is pretty bad. Which is bad because I didn't even remember that game. I don't remember picking them, but I went back and listened to it. I had the Colts in an upset. So week 10, I'll go through the games real quick. We'll pick our games, and yeah. So Thursday Night Football, the Browns at the Ravens, and then you have the Chiefs at the Panthers, Houston at Jacksonville, the Rams at the Jets, Atlanta at Philly, the Bears at Tampa, the Packers at Tennessee, Minnesota at Washington, Miami at San Diego, the Niners at Arizona, Dallas at Pittsburgh, Seattle at New England, and then the Bengals and Giants on Monday night. So you guys know the game. Pick a team that's going to upset and stun us all, and pick a team that's going to be guaranteed to win this week.
Someone else go first. I'm going to still looking.
Oh, this is kind of tough. I'm looking through all of this, and
these are all
that's
good games. These are all good games. But I guess I'll start off if no one else. You also deciding. My upset's going to be. I was smashing that panic button earlier, and I'm still smashing it from a Packer fan. I got Titans upsetting the Packers this week. That's my upset. Tennessee will upset because, well, one, they're at Tennessee, so that's my upset. And then my lock for this week, this is easy. My lock's going to be the Cardinals facing the 49ers.
That was mine.
That's the lock for me. Arizona taking on the Niners. So yeah,
I think my lock team is going to be New York going against beating the Bengals.
Oh.
And I think my what's it called? My upset is going to be you know what? This is gonna might throw a little people off, but it might make a few people happy. One in particular, I think the Saints are gonna beat the Broncos.
Woo! That is all I asked for, Tony. Yes, the football gods have answered my prayers.
I think Broncos just took that L against Oakland, and I think Breeze in the Dome is just gonna just pick apart that defense, and I think Simeon is just not going to get it done. Booker might have a good game, but receiving core, they're going to be struggling like usual. So yeah, I give it to the Saints.
You mentioned Breeze lighting up, but I think that's the opposite. I think because Oakland just ran all over the Broncos, and New Orleans had over 200 yards rushing, so I think Ingram and Hightower lighted up. But yes, Tony, yes. The football gods have answered my prayers. Tony finally sides with the Saints in a game. Life is great right now. Life is great. Life is good. So, Thomas, let's make life even better. Give us your picks.
I don't know about better, but my lock is going to have to be the Patriots beating the Seahawks. I don't see Tom Brady and Gronk slowing down anytime soon, so I think they're going to just pick them apart. And my upset, depending on if you consider this one or not, but I'm just going to call this one. I have the Jaguars beating the Texans.
That's an upset because the Jaguars were a major fold. I consider that an
Yeah, and
upset.
like Blake Bortles hasn't been doing good at the beginning, but he's starting to come around just a little bit. He still has a whole bunch of work to do to be named an average quarterback. He's way below average. He's not good at all. But he has a lot of work to do, and he's starting to come around. Allen Robinson is starting to come around too. He's starting to like realize, all right, come on, I'm the best wide receiver on this team, and he knows that. I think a lot of people do. I'm the best wide receiver on this team. I gotta do what I can, and he's been doing pretty decent. I think T.J. Yeldon is also stepping up a little bit too. So
Nice.
I honestly I have him upsetting the Texans.
Nice. All right, so before we go, one quick question. Do the Browns get their first win or Thursday Night Football? Do they get the win against the Ravens? Yes or no?
I was thinking that for the upset,
I
Me too.
almost said it too.
but I think they can. They honestly can.
Thomas, what do you think? Browns win?
No.
No. Oh man. Wow.
Well, dang. Now I'm like switching back, thinking yes now. I don't know because these two teams they're not good teams.
Yeah,
And,
they're.
I don't know. Actually, you know what? I think they can win.
Thomas
honestly.
hopping on the Cleveland bandwagon.
Honestly, I think they can win.
Oh yeah, hashtag Believeland for the win.
I'm just gonna say that just because like I really like Terrell Pryor.
You know, I feel bad because as we know in the past, I've been known to extremely criticize and hate on the Browns,
Of course,
just because they were awful.
a little more than normal.
Yeah, a little more than the average football fan should. But point being here, the Cavs won their finals. The Indians went to their World Series, and the Browns will win their first game and not go 0-16. The Cleveland Browns are going to win for Believeland. I believe it. Cleveland, I believe you. Just don't let me down. Otherwise, you're going to hear a whole lot of me talking about you next week, I promise you.
And you don't want that.
So Believeland, if you're hearing me, anyone from Cleveland hearing me, you better hope the Browns pull it off. Because if they don't, we will have a lot to talk about. I will have a lot to talk about next week, I promise you. Okay, so that's gonna be it. We'll end the show just like that, talking about the Cleveland Browns, which you really don't expect, but that's what we do. All right, so I am Alec, joined by Tony and Thomas, and we will see you guys next week. Check us out. If you have any comments about football and want to talk to us about it, just leave it in the comment section. And if you're a Browns fan, come at me. That's all I'm gonna say.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah, come at me if you're a Browns fan.